is Still Purple Day, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Y'all, guess that last video, they're like, oh, she is getting all deep. Oh, she, ooh. Why she being that transparent about domestic abuse with men? Oh, well, if it struck a nerve, must have been a reason for it. If it struck a nerve and it convicted y'all, well, praise God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Y'all. Yeah. A lot of men been abused by their wives. Just like my mom. Like what I testified what my father went through and still go, even though they divorced. Y'all, and I married a narc. I keep that. I married somebody just like my mother. Matter of fact, my mom set me up. Married that fool. Yup. She sure did. Sure did. That whole thing was a setup. The whole thing ain't had nothing to do with just him. It's him and my mother-in-law and my mom. Y'all, there were 3 knocks. Oh my God, Jesus. Y'all. That's why I pray First Samuel chapter 25 about him. I sure do. I was like, just call me Abigail. Y'all. It's a shame before God. And I see the pattern. I see the pattern. When you have a child by a narc, then the narc will manipulate the child. Yup, the narc will manipulate the child against what they think is their what's the word for it? Their they will pray. Yup. Cause I seen my mom do that with my oldest son. She did that with my oldest son, and she did it to my sister, and she did it with me. Yup. And even my youngest daughter. Yup. My youngest daughter, that's her favorite. Y'all, you gotta just let it go. Like I said in the other video, domestic violence and domestic abuse isn't just physical. It ain't just fighting. It ain't just that. It's emotional, spiritual, financial abuse, abandonment. It's every kind of toxic, toxic form of degrading the individual. Remind me so much of the. It remind me of the color purple. Yeah. The color purple and with Denzel Washington's Malcolm X movie, and how Elijah Muhammad used Malcolm betrayed. If y'all read the autobiography of Malcolm X, read that in its entirety, and then watch the movie, and then watch Make It Plain documentary. Do that, and then you'll see how they conned them. They hustled. Yup, it was yup. They hustled them. Y'all, it was jealous. It was jealous of Malcolm X. Yup, yup. You got knocks like that hate your existence. They just want a piece of your shine. That's all they want. They want a piece of you. They don't care how long it take even. You just a part of, like my sister said about my mom. Oh, it's all her show. You just part of the stage. You just part of stage play. And the reason why she broke it down to me like that is because I always was into musicals and arts, the arts and tap dancing and ballet as a young kid, and I'm autistic and had ADHD and epilepsy, all kinds. Y'all, and then my sister said, she was jealous of you then. I'm thinking in my head, the stuff is like the flashes of stuff popping up in me. I said, you know what she got? You know what? Y'all, yeah, men go through that. I seen my father be abused by my mom. I seen my mother abuse her half a brother and sister. Yeah, and my mother part white, and she act real bougie, real bougie, and will lie. Ooh, lie, covered up a lot of stuff, a lot, a lot. You ain't gonna never be nobody. The same. She ran the same line to all three. You ain't gonna be nothing. You ain't gonna be nobody without me. You ain't gonna be able to drive. You can't drive. You can't do this and that. You can't. Y'all, constant put downs, constant sabotage, constant spreading lies throughout the family on both sides. But I know she would never go but so far because my father had a bunch of sisters. And my aunts never kicked her ass. Not one time. They should have. They should have kicked her ass. They should have taught, beat her tail. My father never put a hand on him, despite what he witnessed my grandfather do to my grandmother. He witnessed that. Y'all, y'all, and y'all, yeah, it happens. Yeah, men are survivors of domestic violence and domestic abuse. Yes, and and um and the thing is, we ain't talking about religion. We ain't talking about religion stuff. Talking about Jehovah's Witness and Baptist and my grandmother was Jehovah's Witness and my grandfather was Baptist deacon. My grandmother was in Jehovah's Witness cult religion. Yep. And so, and then my mother's side was Jehovah's Witness. Both sides Jehovah's Witness. So they had that background. Both my parents had that background, and and that in itself is abusive. Yo, 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 yo. Yeah, yeah. Folk like that don't realize that Ephesians chapter 5, what Ephesians chapter 5 say, that a husband is head over the wife, and it's the husband and the wife, and then it's the children, and Jesus is head over the husband, and the husband supposed to love his wife as Christ loved the church. Folk don't folk don't folk don't stay and read that. Something is wrong when you got children. And I said this in my other video that I put on my YouTube channel. Something is dead wrong when you got adult children telling the mother, telling the wife how they have a relationship with God, and that adult child that you had by the nose. That's like Abigail and Nabal. Y'all, or like silly, like I said in my other video, like Harpo telling Silly, telling Suge, because Suge in the book, Suge with his mother. That's like Harpo telling Suge how to be a parent, how to be a mommy. And he knew Mr. was his father, but nowhere in the movie and in the book do you see Harpo telling his father what to do, or it's only one part consistent about his relationship with Celie. He talked to Celie, what should I do with Sophia? Y'all, back to my point. Something is seriously wrong. No child, a child should stay in a child's place. Biblically, children are, they a gift from the Lord, but children are a byproduct. The husband and wife is a complete family. They're a complete family. Adam and Eve, complete. It was complete. But they were like supposed to be fruitful and have multiply and fill the earth. But then again, God gave the rules and the commandments and the headship to Adam, to man. Mankind fell when Adam disobeyed. Hello, somebody. Hello. So that's out of place. That's out of order. It's out of order. It's out of order when you got a adult. I don't care if it's a male adult child or a female adult child telling the husband and the wife. That's like you telling you getting involved in, you getting in between the marriage. You get in between that like a supervisor. And then Ephesians chapter 6, people always they want to twist that. They say you parents, but that's not what it said. It said you fathers. You fathers, do not exasperate your children. Do not frustrate them. Why does it say that? Go back to chapter 5. Why does it say father? It doesn't say husbands and wives. It say you fathers. Do not exasperate. Going back to the headship, y'all, y'all, y'all. That's why it's so much domestic violence, so much domestic abuse in the households, in the families, so much discord, so much dysfunction, especially in the black families, y'all. My family all mixed up. Is Native American, is white, is black, Native American, and uh, Cherokee Indian, Jewish, Jewish, Cherokee Indian, Jewish, black, and something else. I'm trying to remember, but we all mixed on both sides, y'all. And then, then you dealing with the Southern culture too, like the color purple, y'all. Then you dealing with that and hoodoo and voodoo, y'all. Like in the color purple, y'all, y'all. Okay, you can't tell you you can't tell me that my grandfather and my father and them and my grandmothers didn't delve in witchcraft or didn't delve in delve in curses from down south, portions and stuff like that that they ain't had no business getting into before they got into Joe Witness. Joe Witness is like they like the Illuminati Masons and stuff. Yup. You can't. And then on my mother's side too, my father's side and my mother's, y'all. So yeah, so oh yeah. That's why. That's why you gotta be very careful about your toxic family or your toxic children or your toxic spouse, your husband. That kind of thing make you feel like, what kind of God are you? Like silly, y'all, but that song in the Color Purple music, what kind of God are you? Y'all, and don't let them people dictate how they have relationship. Oh, you better not tell nobody but God. Y'all, in my case, I was disabled from birth. Came out the coochie disabled. Before I was even born, but I was formed in my mother's womb. I was fighting disability. My mother was cheating on my father with her high school sweetheart. So that demon was was in there and dealing with dealing with the grandparents' roots stuff, hitting stuff, dealing with that as an embryo, and dealing with that to get, and then Jehovah's Witness, that y'all, Y'all, people always want to talk about. They always want to talk about the color purple is about lesbian and bash the men. No, 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 no. No, I loved it. That book. I remember when it came out. I remember when Steven Spielberg's movie came out, and I remember the book. Alice Walker really disclosing what actually goes on in the in the families. She was exposing it. A lot of people that wanted their book was banned. Y'all, y'all, and folks, oh, be quiet, shut up. Oh, look, you know, that's why I've been making so many videos about domestic violence, the domestic, uh, 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 um, domestic abuse today, because you have that God given right. Whether you don't believe in, you got doubts about God, like Sealy, you know, you don't believe in, you don't believe in God. You going through, every time you think or you read the Bible, you think about the Heavenly Father, whatever, you like, what kind of father is that? Every man, every person that was every male figure that came in your life did something traumatic to you, abuse you, and that can go the opposite way. That can go the opposite way. There's males out there that just like Sealy. They been abused. They seen abuse, witness abuse. They got kids that they, I didn't never extra sorry hand. I didn't extra hand in marriage. I didn't want these kids. I had these kids, by incest, by rape. I ain't want these kids. Y'all. I ain't want these children. And you, folk like that they waiting. They waiting for their breakthrough. They waiting for their deliverance. They want their voice to be heard. They go through stuff silently. They got jobs. They got careers. They got so-called families, biological families, but they hurt and they wounded and they walk. They got unsolved wounds. They go through all kinds of trauma and stereotypes. Behind the scenes. Y'all. So when you see that, see 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 boys or see single parents or widows, women by themselves, you know, you don't know what the trauma or what they going through. And a lot of these preachers and stuff, these religions don't care. They don't care. Y'all, let me get off of here. But I had to, y'all. Don't let them silence, what I said in my bed, silence no more. Y'all, that's what they banking on. They want you to be, they want you to be quiet and be silent and don't say nothing. Bad fact, they want you to die like that. Let's keep that real. They want you to die. They want you to die in your struggle, die in your pain, die in the die from the abuse. Keep it secret. Don't say nothing. And all you can do is be like Abigail and bank on God striking that bastard down. You banking on God to give you justice. You banking on it. You like, Lord, if there is a Father, you better not tell nobody but God. You better not. You better write it down. But you're disabled. While I'm stealing your babies, I'm taking your babies fresh out the womb, and I got Natty helping, and I'm giving your babies, y'all. And then the movie said what that fool said. I'm giving the baby to God. I said, you MF. You giving the baby to God. And then they said, well, he said he giving the baby to God. Y'all blaming your abuse on the higher power, or that's why Silly had with issues with trusting, but believing in God. She ain't know what God was. Y'all, let's keep it real. A lot of y'all got problems with reading that Bible. I know I do. I got problems with it. Reading the Bible, studying the Bible, hearing from God, listening to God, because based on my biological father and my children's fathers and the pastors, and based on the experiences that I had and being molested at 4 years old, and my mother killing my cat's kittens, all that abuse, y'all, all that evilness from outside, like, and they say a prophet is not welcome in his own hometown. I'm like, Dad, well, why didn't you get me out of here, Lord? You got my kids out of here, and they was put in foster care and adopted, and they grown. Some of them wasn't adopted. Some of them was put in foster care, and they just aged out. Y'all, and all that would have never happened. All that happened because of the not grandmother. In just like in Canto. Just like that Disney movie. Encanto. Exactly like it. Yo, what do you do in a situation like that? Who do you talk to? Who do you trust? How do you love? What is love? The Bible says God is love. Like, well, it don't seem like it. What kind of God are you? Y'all, So yeah, this for domestic violence month and domestic abuse month. I guess it's like part two to the video, the other video, Silent No More, or the other video that I made. It's like a part two, you know. But hey, y'all, yeah, you know, that's a tough one. And I think too, because my youngest daughter, she DM me a video, and I thought it was cute because it had a girl praying for her father, and I text my daughter back. I said, "Oh, that wow, I never, I never experienced it. I'm being honest. I'm like, wow, that's obvious that her father was supportive to her because he's a husband in agreement with Ephesians chapter 5. Wow, wow. And I'm thinking in the back of my head. I'm thinking in the back of my head now. She's sending me this. Why is she? That's like you know that's like Celie's that's like Celie's children that she had by her stepfather. She ain't know that was her stepfather, but those two kids, Adam and Olivia. That's like Adam and Olivia Instagramming her. Come on, and thank you, Holy Ghost. That's like Adam and Olivia DMing her, DMing Celie. How 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 the relationship should have been between their biological father that died. Remember, he died in the movie. Remember that? Y'all, ain't that's hurtful. That's a slap. That that's like that's really that's really abusing. That's abusing the mother because the father ain't there. The father father not there. The father, the wife, what the wife got to take that abuse, or the other way around. It's the other. It could be the other way around. Like I said, there's a lot of men that just like Celie. They suffer. They gotta take that abuse. You know, they got a narcissistic Jezebel. They married to a narcissistic Jezebel, an evil witch, a evil wife. I mean, pure evil. And they don't slap her. They don't defend her. They don't defend themselves. They don't retaliate. Years and years and years and years go by because they didn't see their mother be beaten by their father. Come on here. Y'all, come on now. Come on. So maybe that's why I'm making this video. Because of what my youngest daughter sent. It's like, y'all, and then to be legally married, and can't get no divorce. That's a whole nother backstory. Y'all, y'all. So yeah. What do you do in that kind of dynamic? Who do you turn to? Who do you go? When they say go to God, but how? What God? What kind of God are you? How? You look at him like he's abusive. You know, are you kidding me? Like Malcolm X, that scene when he was in prison and that white priest said what he said. I said it with that white priest said, you know, you have a friend in Jesus. And Malcolm X said, tell Jesus, kiss my ass. He said, little, what's your number? Say, state your number. He stated his number. He said, but see, he said that. Now you gotta think of why he said that. The white man killed his father. You know, the white man, the KKK. Okay? Remember that? And the white man killed his father. Put him on the streetcar, and the streetcar sliced his father's body in here. That part in the movie happened in real life. That really happened. And then this white nigga going to say, don't you know you have a friend in Jesus? He like, tell him kiss my ass. Y'all. And then at the end, when he about to die, the lady said, I recognize you. I know who you are. Jesus will protect you. You like, I know. y'all, it's like that. It's exactly like that. Y'all, you mean that white devil, Jesus gonna protect me? And I got the Nation of Islam and the FBI plotting to kill me. And I know what they did to my house. They bombed my house. Come on now. And then lied about it. Y'all, come on here. Y'all, are you kidding? He wasn't disrespectful, but that look on his face. I know, I recognize. Y'all, come on now. Come on. Come on here. Man, don't let. That's the thing. Folk like that, knocks like that, they don't want to give you time to heal. They can abandon you and leave your life and leave you and cheat on you and go somewhere else and hover, you know, you know, they don't want you to leave the state and no contact them. Cut them completely off. No, you my mammy. No. You my they was sabotaged like what my mom did. She did it so many times I can't count. So many times. Y'all, And the only part in The Color Purple that was the good part was that Nettie and those kids was in Africa together. Y'all, that was the consistent good part of the movie, and the good part was the sisterhood among Shug and Celie and Sophia. Y'all, man, oh man, God, y'all, let me get off of here. Let me get off of here. I'm gonna read this Daily Bread, y'all, and I'm gonna end this message with y'all. Um, Thursday, October the 16th, Psalms 119, verse 169 through 176. I have strayed like a lost sheep. Seek your servant, for I have not forgotten your commands, pursued by God. David Yoto is a cognitive scientist who studies navigation but has problems navigating his way around geographic locations. This isn't a new problem for him, one that goes back to when he was 13 years old and got lost for 2.5 days on a hike. Utah admits he's still terrible with simple directions in life, but some people are natural navigators, knowing exactly where they are and how to get where they desire to go. Others, like Utah, struggle even with clear directions and often get lost. Oh, yeah, that's how it is. The psalmist also felt the disorientation of lostness. I have strayed like a lost sheep. Seek your servant, for I have not forgotten your command. Psalms 119, verse 176. He compared himself to a wandering sheep. Although sheep can be valuable creatures, they're also notoriously rebellious and will sometimes drift away from their shepherd, putting them in need of rescue. The psalmist's spiritual navigation skills had deteriorated and his spiritual sense of direction had faded. So he needed God to pursue him, see, and give him a discerning mind. Verse 169. When we wander away from God's care, he loves us enough to seek us and leads us back to himself as he helps us understand the scriptures and follow all his commands. Verse 172. We can avoid getting spiritually lost. In what ways have you drifted away from God and his wisdom? In what ways will you remember his instructions today? Gracious God, I recognize that I'm often like a lost sheep, easily distracted and led astray. Please help me. Please bring me back to your side. Bible in a year. Isaiah chapter 47 through chapter 49. First Thessalonians chapter 4. Okay, that's it. That's the devotional right there. Be blessed. Be strong and be blessed.